Well, in
because
this
that
world, in
doesn't
this
it doesn't
America,
help.
everybody can get a job. Everybody can work. It's not like women, like before when women couldn't work. Yeah, I understand. You have to pay for her board, her room and board and all. But today we live in an equal world. It's equal, right? You can get a job. What's wrong with getting a job? If you want to be alone, then really be alone.
Amira,
Figure it out on your own.
are lots of your friends divorced?
Hmm?
Do you know a lot of divorced people in your personal life?
What?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe at work. I'm not sure. I'm sure.
So,
I'm
Amir,
Courtney.
you don't know anyone in your culture that has been remarried?
Yes, my husband remarried. We encounter people
Oh,
all
you
the time
work?
that are divorced. Yeah, I work for my husband.
Okay, so you don't know really in your personal life any people that are divorced.
What does that have to do with anything?
I was just asking. If you don't want to answer, I understand.
What was
From
your
the person
point?
that
I mean,
I'm
my
aware about
point,
you
I'm
work.
just wondering where you're getting all this information and these views about divorced people, because it sounds like propaganda. And I'm just trying to see if it's your personal
Whoa.
experience or if it's something that you've read, or like, where is this information coming from? Either way, it's fine. I mean, if it's your opinion, that's cool. If it's based off people you see, that's cool. If you have some kind of data to say that women are just out here filing for divorce for 15% of $40,000 over the course of 12 months. I mean, if you have some data or like something, I'm just trying to see where your mindset is coming from.
Well, the data that I have is that
Or if
marriage
you're
is
just
not
trying to feed a narrative that you think people want to hear. I'm just trying to see what it is.
Okay. My data is that marriage in the Western world is unsuccessful. I see that women are filing for divorce 70 to 80% of the time.
Where do you
I
see that?
them. Okay. Are you joking with me? Or
no, I'm asking you for real. Where do you see that women are filing for divorce 70 to 80% of the time?
It's
Really don't
well
be frustrated.
known. You can look it up. I don't have time to really have friends. If you know, I'm a super lonely person. I have no friends. That's why, like, the Lapeef network is basically my family, because in real life, I have no other friends other than my family. I'm going to be virgin. There's a really high emphasis on virginity in my culture. The purity of a woman is her value. Her value lies in her purity. A woman who is undisciplined and out on the CC, as they call it, those ones are considered worthless. I hate to say it like that, but they're worthless, untouchables, unmarriageable.
What?
And the ones that are clean, pure, as they call it, they are of higher value.
Do you believe that?
In some ways, yes, I do. And in some ways, I think it's kind of just a way to keep people in line, Courtney, honestly, because the truth is, people fall in love. People have, it doesn't make you unvaluable or not. How can I say that? It doesn't make you worthless just because you fell in love once and you gave yourself to that person. I wouldn't call you worthless, but in the culture, you would be considered unmarriageable. Or if you do get married, you will marry a person that's probably already divorced and probably already has other situations going on. So,
and this is if they're not virgins,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you might end up being the second wife of someone. Like second wife. Men are permitted to have 4 wives. I'm his second wife.
Is having a second wife a cultural norm in her culture, or is she just so confident and logical about her position with her husband?
It's not that common. It is legal. It's legal in our culture, and it is accepted, but at the same time, it's not common. It's not common at all. And most wives that don't have a rich husband or a husband who is wealthy or making good money, they won't be open to it, because they know that if he gets a second wife, then one of them is going to have to leave. So my husband, you have to understand, he's a rare breed. He's not just a man who's in that kind of situation. My husband, I don't want to say too much about him like that, but my husband is a very high value man. He's not just
but why would you as a woman who I don't know, are you don't have kids like out of wedlock, you don't have a high body count, I'm assuming. Tell me if I'm wrong. All these things. Why would you end up with the man that you said would usually end up with women that were in those more
My husband would never end up with a woman that was in that kind of situation. You have to understand, my husband is of a different level. He's not just a man who's in that kind of situation. My husband, I don't want to say too much about anybody. My husband is a very high value man. He's not just.
Well, but why would you as a woman who I mean, I don't know. You don't have kids like out of wedlock. You don't have a high body count, I'm assuming. Tell me if I'm wrong. All these things. Why would you end up with the man that you said would usually end up with women that were in those more?
My husband would never end up with a woman that was in that kind of situation. You have to understand, my husband is of a different level. He's not. He would never end up with a woman who have a bunch of kids or who had a high body count. He just wouldn't. It's because of his family and his status. He's a very high status man. He's not. He wouldn't end up in that kind of situation.
Probably be a relief for you, considering that all of the things that you have to deal with on a regular basis, especially.
Oh God, I would love some help. I told my husband once, I would love help. I would love her to take care of the bookkeeping, the QuickBooks, the secretaries. You go do that, honey. I'll stay home and make bread. I will garden. I would just enjoy cleaning the bathrooms. I will scrub these marble floors with my bare hands if I had help to just take care of all of that.
So basically, Kay asks Ameera, "Hey, how do you have this information?" And as it turns out, she doesn't have any friends. She doesn't know anyone that is divorced, except for her husband, of course. So it's obvious that she's getting this rhetoric from either a patriarchal member in her family, or she's just getting it from the internet. And she's in this manosphere space, so she's just repeating that rhetoric because she is male identified. She doesn't believe that women and men are equal. She believes that she's much lower in status than men. So Kay just decides to ask her, like, "Hey, where are you getting this information from?" And instead of just coming clean and just saying, "Hey, I got it mostly from the internet and from my family or my husband," she doesn't say, like, "Hey, my husband is divorced." Do you know what I'm saying? So then she gets into a few weeks ago she got into the idea of a second wife and the importance of purity and virginity in her culture, and saying that people that are impure are more than likely to become a second wife of someone. But then she reveals to us that she is the second wife of someone, but in her words, or how she describes it, she's not the second wife, she's the second first wife, because her husband is divorced. Now, she also talks about, in earlier episodes, she talks about being taken care of, and that, she mentions in every episode that her husband is extremely wealthy. He does very, very well for himself. He takes care of her, so on and so forth. She doesn't want to give too much detail about how much wealth her husband has. Now, I don't want to doubt her husband's wealth, but she brings it into doubt a little bit when she mentions that she does in fact work for her husband, and I don't think anything's wrong with that. But in her own words, she wished that she had someone else to do the work stuff while she did the home stuff, because clearly she's doing both according to her. And my question is, how is it that your husband is of such immense wealth according to you, and you are his accountant, his bookkeeper, etc., etc.? I understand the whole idea of trying to keep it in the family, but if you're making that level of money, one person doing the QuickBooks, using QuickBooks in general, but one person doing the QuickBooks and that person is your wife doesn't really make sense. Not if you're a millionaire. It just doesn't make sense. But that's all I got for you guys right now. This is just a quick clip for you guys to watch if you wanted to watch. I have a full breakdown video coming up as well, so you guys can look out for that, where I go deep into the conversations that they're having with way more context in order to demonstrate why I say that Ameera is a male-identified woman. She comes from a purely patriarchal society. She only really thinks about how to benefit the men in society. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with her viewpoints. I'm just pointing them out and what it means for the show. And I think she's great for the show. She really brings a lot of attention to what goes on in a patriarchal society or a patriarchal culture, a patriarchal system. So I think she's a great representative so far. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.